Hello everyone. This is Mrs. Padmashri from SNS College of Engineering. Today I am going to explain the concept of backpropagation networks in machine learning. So let's explore what is this backpropagation concept in machine learning. It is a multi-layer network from the artificial neural network. The BPN is a multi-layer feed-forward network when the error is backpropagator. So hence it has a name called backpropagation network. So as we all know that artificial neural network has a number of layers. Say for example input layer, hidden layer and the output layer. The data will be transferred from one layer to the another layer. So it is called a feed forward neural network. So each and every node transmits the data to the next layer, and from the second layer it will transmit the output to the third layer. So likewise all the layers will transmit the data. Finally the data will be sent to the output layer. So this is the general structure of any artificial neural network. If it is a single layer network, we will not have any hidden layers. So if you take a multiple layer network, then we will be having a multiple hidden layer present in the neural network. So BPN is it's a multi-layer network. So we can always say it is a feed-forward network. We feed forward the data to the next layer. It comes under the supervised machine learning process, and it is a systematic procedure for training any neural network that is mainly used for checking or detecting the error and for correction. This is the network we call the backpropagation neural network architecture. As I already mentioned, here we have input layer, hidden layer 1, hidden layer 2 and one output layer. So input layer, it transmits the data. Say for example, if the input is x1, the x1 data will be transmitted to the next layer. So each input is added with its weight and the bias value. So the weight of this layer will be calculated as Wij. So the weight and bias is multiplied. Each input layer has a weight associated with it. So initial weight, the weight, say for example Wij into the input layer x1, x2 or x3 plus the bias value will be added. So that will be transmitted to the next layer. The next layer receives the output of the first layer. See, this is the hidden layer 1. Each hidden layer computes its own operations. So this is the weight associated with the hidden layer Vjk, and the output of hidden layer 1 will be transmitted to the output of will be transmitted as an input to the hidden layer 2. And hidden layer 2 also computes weight into input plus bias will be added, that will be transmitted to the output layer. So the output layer, it checks whether the data received is correct or not. If the data has any error, that will be back propagated to the same stage, that is the initial input layer. So this was the concept of back propagation network. So let explain what is this network, backpropagation network. This network is valid only for different output functions. The training process used in the backpropagation involves in the three stage. The first stage is called as a feed forward network, or we can say feed forward of input training pair, which means that the input will be feed forward from one network layer to the another network layer. So all the computation will be done in the hidden layer, and the processing of the hidden layer is it will compute input into weight plus the bias value. That value will be transmitted to the next layer. So the second step involved here is calculation and back propagation of associated error. As I already said, like after calculating this, the each and every node will be tested with the activation function. Say here, for example, this input layer will be transmitted to the next layer. Here, in this particular layer, the function activation function will be done. So what is this activation function is? Activation function it just checks whether the node is performing transmission or the node is active or not. If a particular node is active means that node will transmit the data. The data in the sense it transmits input into weight plus bias value to the next layer. So that function, whether the node is functioning or not, will be checked by the activation function. So each and every node is doing some calculation. So the activation function will be checked here, and for the next hidden layer, the activation function will be used here. So it checks whether the node is active or not, or it is transmitting the data or not. So second step involves calculation and back propagation of associated error. It, uh, it, so the final stage, the output, when it reaches to the output layer, it calculates whether the output is correct or not. If there is any error, the error will be back propagated to the initial stage input layer, and adjustment of the weight is done. In the third step, we see the adjustment of weight. If there is any error, the weight adjustment, which means we can say the correction, weight correction has been done, and new weight and new bias will be added. That is the adjustment of weight, and that again will be feed forward to the next layer to the final output layer. So the exact working of the algorithm will be explained in my next video. Keep watching my video. Thank you.